As we approach 3 months since the beginning of the Pulsechain sacrifice phase, as I watch Hex and Pulsechain streamers, the one question I see the most is what is going to be the price of PLS when Pulsechain finally comes out. Now, I've seen a lot of theories on this, a lot of people that are very, very skeptical and very few optimistic. I mean, they're optimistic, but they're not optimistic as far as short term. I'm one of the ones who's fairly optimistic short term. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why. Here is the Pulsechain point value worksheet, no bonus point multiplier. So this is basically how many points you would get on that day per dollar. As you can see here on July 15th, $1 would have got you 10,000 sacrifice points. If you would have bought $800 worth of points, you would have got 8 million points. For the first 5 days, we had this rate. Then the rate started going up every single day. Now, what no one really expected was for the sacrifice phase to continue going. And once I realized, I wish I would have, but I'm satisfied because I went in the first days. But one thing I'm starting to wish I would have done, I think it was probably a good idea to go in every single day. I think the people who did that are going to be up a lot. Here's why. So let's fast forward to now. Let's keep that $800. We'll just leave that $800. That's pretty doable, and it's gonna it's doable. So this is where most people are probably playing around at if they went in 800 to 10,000. So let's fast forward to now. Today is November the 8th. Here we are sitting in this column right here at 2.3 cents. If you would have put 800, this is just theoretically speaking. This is not so much of how much you have, but how much your points are worth if somebody wants to buy them today. So if you want to get the same amount of points, this 8 million points today, you will have to pay $188,925 if you want to get the points from the guy who put $800 in today. Well, on the first day, for one of the first 5 days, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now, a lot of people saying, well, that doesn't mean that your points are worth that much. It's just that's what the rate is. I would say you're absolutely right, but people are still sacrificing. In fact, just 3 hours ago, someone sacrificed 100,000 hex. And we can see it in the transaction right here. 100,000 hex, that's $17,575. So what does that say? What is the statement being made here? It can't be, oh man, I need some pulse for transactions, because I mean, you could throw a buck in if you want to have some transactions for pulse. I mean, you don't need to throw in 100,000 hex, right? You can throw a buck in and get some PLS for transactions. They're going to be free. One PLS will last you probably for years. So that's not a valid argument. There is some statement being made here, and that is the price is going up. Let me get what I can. Now, Richard Hart, he extended the curve, right? He's just going to let it run. And if you sacrifice, you're still going to get that rate. And his reasoning is because he doesn't want people to complain. Now, I'm surprised more people don't put more emphasis on that, because what greater complaint is there than being wrecked because you went in the sacrifice today and the chain launches tomorrow and you're down 99%. So that's not, if he wasn't going to get people wrecked, he would have just cut it off. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't want to hear complaining, he would have just cut it off. He would just let it go one more day and then cut it off. Gave people maybe another week. But to let it keep going all the way up to now, it's either going to massively wreck a ton more people than what we've seen in the first couple of days in the AA lobby. This day right here, if you went in on this day, you seemed like a fool at first. I mean, you can see it on the chart. If you went in on the first couple of days, you were down in the red for a hot second, okay? Even though it pumped up and you might have got a chance to sell, but that's what I'm about to get to. You went down in the red, 83, 91% for, how many days is this? 125 days. But we do see a massive pump here. 600%. There was some hype. So for my prediction, which this is my first time really giving a prediction, a really thought through prediction. And I've been saying this for a while. As we can see right now, the curve is at, about 2.5. You're going to get 42 PLS per dollar. Right now it's 2.5 cents, right? Do I think Pulsechain is going to start? If Pulsechain started tomorrow, do I think it will launch here? No, I don't think it'll start here. What I think is actually more reasonable is 50 to 60% down from wherever the bond curve stops. So if it were to stop today, in my opinion, I think PLS would get to around 1 penny on the first day with some crazy pump like this. But the people that are in that sacrificed lately, they're going to experience some downside for a while, just like we see here on this chart. Yeah, and a lot of people talk about, well, how could it be that high with so many sellers, so many supply? And that's a good point. The people that got in at these rates, if you put in, $10,000, not even anything too crazy, that would mean that you're sitting on points that are worth 2.3 million. And I mean, from being in Hex, that wouldn't even really surprise me. I mean, it sounds crazy, but if you put $100 in Hex at the beginning, you got a couple, you sitting on some M's, bro. So to think that it can't be done better this time, I think would be foolish. To think that the developers and the people around this didn't learn anything from the way Hex was launched, which in itself was genius. This whole AA lobby thing was genius. Thank God. To think that it can't do better with this type of launch, with even stronger hands. I mean, and the people that got in at those rates, these are Hexagon rates up here. You didn't go hard into this unless you are a believer. So probably going to be able to hold on anyway. So the only way you're going to get Pulse is from the people who sell it, from the people who got in the sacrifice phase. That's the only way that you're going to get Pulse. I think the people who are going to be selling it are the people who came in late that are going to be in that volatility. The early guys, if Pulse is sitting at a penny, they might take some profit, but I don't think they're going to be rugging the thing. If we think that Pulsechain isn't coming out until, let's just be conservative, January 1st, it's going to be 32 cents on the sacrifice points. You're only going to be getting 3 per dollar. So the starting price could be, well, not the starting price, but the first day's price could be as high as, I'm thinking 15 cents. I'm thinking 50% off, 50 to 70% cheaper than whatever the last day's curve is. That's what I'm thinking. So if it starts 32, if the last day is 32, I'm thinking we're going to be like 16 cents. Because these guys right here are going to be dumping and trading. And, while the guy who put in, $10,000 on the first 5 days, he's a multi-millionaire. So what is he really tripping about? Is he really trying to, and he can't cash it out. It's probably not going to be that much liquidity anyway. So the only people that are going to really be able to play around are the people who played around or care to play around, are going to be those people that played around or sacrificed in the last month. If it's not out till February, dollar, and people are still sacrificing. This is the market. This person is saying, I want some Pulsechain. The price is going up. Should you sacrifice now? I don't know. It might come out tomorrow and you'll probably be in the red. You'll probably be in the red about 50%, 50 to 70%, just like here. But after a couple of years, it probably doesn't matter. That's just me speculating. I could be completely wrong. Hit the like button and subscribe and all that